How's it going, guys? Brandon from Korean TCG here to give you guys my re-upload video um, about my thoughts on the new ban list for Cardfight Vanguard. Mostly just for premium. I mean, I will give you my opinions on the stuff for other formats, but really I just want to focus on premium since it's the only format I believe anyone should be playing. Especially now, since the format essentially got scalped and anything that was good is now has now fallen into obscurity. I'm not sure if the clans can recover well from this, but I mean, I have high hopes as it's happened before. So, first thing I want to start off with is the choice restriction for Flying Paraton and Purple Trapezist. This is something you've seen, as well as with the Stand Trigger, in every build in Pale Moon for premium. There's not one, I'm guarantee you, there's not a single build you'll see without these. And the choice restriction hurts because while there are alternatives to Trapezis and Paraton, none of them work as well as these two. So I think it's Palmon's going to be in a bit of a pickle. I'm not sure how it's going to recover. If I had to think of a deck that doesn't really mind this choice restriction, it may be Nightmare Doll. I know a lot of Nightmare Doll builds that don't revolve around Paraton, but they still use Trapezis because it's really easy for you to use something this um, free and fast and kind of generic to keep your engine going. So I mean, there's that I guess, but don't really see much else for the future for Pale Moon at the moment. Dark Regulars lost Gas Steel. I'm not sure how Dark Regulars are really going to recover from this. I don't know what future Dark Regular builds would be like since I've never seen any other build for Dark Regulars yet. I know some friends of mine who are like dedicated to Bladewing builds, but those were mostly gimmicky and don't really keep up with or are not as strong as compared to GI used to be before this list. Um, and I think most of that really comes down to Dark Regulars just not like main deck units. They're fine, but in terms of the strides, like Dark Regulars don't have the best early stride turns, and it isn't until they get into like the later game where you can go into stuff like Blader Mouse or maybe Gilderoy that you could have a decent chance to win. But for the most part, it's kind of meh, and I don't know. We'll just have to see about that as well. On the topic of strides getting hit, Murakumo lost their stride. I still have high hopes for Murakumo though. Like Murakumo is still an extremely fast clan, and it's still very versatile. Yeah, it did lose what was I believe it was a promo. I can never pronounce the name, but uh, you could easily substitute other cards for that promo. So it wasn't the greatest loss in my opinion. And compared to Dark Regulars, like Murakumo have stronger strides in my opinion for mid to late game. And since they're already so aggressive in the early game without um, the need for strides, I think Murakumo's in a decent place. Then just finishing it off with what you see here, Ultima, obviously the over trigger. We all knew this was coming. You can now no longer use the over trigger with Ultima. It really doesn't change anything. If you're playing Ultima, you're playing United Sanctuary. If you're playing United Sanctuary, you're more than likely just playing golds. And if it's golds, it's either Gurgit Premium, like Standard Plus, or really any variation of Ezel. And Ezel is really is what holding golds up. And it's you just do the same shenanigans with Ultima. Just stack two crits. If you get lucky with the third trigger, then nothing's really changed. Let's see. Similar to Ezel and Murakumo, just super fast, speedy decks. Bushiroad also hit Shadow Paladin, so you can no longer just turbo into Phantom Blaster and just get ahead of your opponent. It still doesn't hit. That still doesn't affect stuff like Ezel, and Murakumo. Like they're still extremely fast. So that's that. Uh, I mean, I didn't play Shadow Paladin for it to be super speedy anyway. I mean, like Morpheus is already such a tough stride to survive. So I mean, I guess that's that. Genesis that lost a stand trigger. Um, you, I mean, you losing that stand trigger basically means you lose one way to play Genesis. there's a million ways to play Genesis, and one of the most notable ways I can think of right now is just doing Astral Deity Premium, Fenrir Premium, like Standard Plus or stuff like that, or just playing the V Fenrir and really anything else in the main. It's okay, nothing too great, nothing groundbreaking for a new meta, in my opinion. I still think Astral Deities is the best one to do and to stick with, especially since it's kind of cheap. Um, and on the topic of that, with the stand being banned, you now have the new rule for stand triggers that you can't drive check with units on rearguard circles that are stood by stand triggers, which I think is complete horseshit. I mean, it should that's just the way that the deck's played. Like the unit gains the ability to drive check, and just because it's stood by one particular trigger, now Bushiroad says like, you straight up can't do it, which is kind of like them shooting themselves in the foot because I mean Bushiroad's the company that's really has been pitching stand triggers for far too long, trying to tell people this is in fact a good trigger, but no one played stands because you could stand a unit. People played stands for their broken effects. Had that effect been on any other trigger, of course, stand triggers would. No one would remember what a stand trigger was. Even veteran players who started the game since the first wave of support that came to America would know what a stand trigger was because there was absolutely no reason to play them. But because their effects were just so broken, so power crept, of course you had to. They were easily one. I think they were like the first wave of triggers that you were able to recycle. Um, what was that? I believe in G era. So there's that. Uh, yeah, not much to say about the whole stand trigger gimmick. I'm a little upset about that, but I don't know. That doesn't kill any of the decks, mind you. Like you can still play Blade Master and Kagero, or just be a good person and play Overlord, or you could play Astral Deity and Premium and still do well. Like you don't have to rely on the stands. That was just one way to play. Um, you not being able to do it now doesn't change too much. It's still a very good deck to play. There are a few other niche things like the Zazan and Tempest Sphere. I believe it's called Tempest Sphere. Those things getting hit, I don't think anyone cares. I didn't see many people play them in my area nor online, and it just kind of seemed kind of forgettable. There was something with Dantarian. I believe it was a choice restriction for standard, or what people call it V Premium, which is a ridiculous name. It's doesn't really matter. Uh, I know there was one for Bermuda Triangle. It was for this weird loop you can do with that pink or the reddish melody grade 3 and this grade 2 from G era, the Harmony one. It like that was seen once a long time ago, and I guess Bushiroad thought it was still a threat, so they hit it. That didn't change anything. No one was going to play it, so you weren't going to see it. Now that it got the choice restriction, now you're just not going to see it ever. Nubatama lost their main grade 3, really their only good grade 3 in their entire clan, and that hurts for it being a clan that wasn't really that great in premium to begin with. I mean, sure, there's like dominate and stuff like that, but you're not playing that grade 3 since there's the choice restriction with Shiranui Stride. What is it? Renee, the one that steals 2 from the opponent's hand. They call it. And I mean, really, Atago Lord isn't as great as you may think it is. You just lose 1 card from the hand and he gains a crit. It doesn't really apply any pressure. It isn't very strong. I don't know. I just never saw Nubatama being a very oppressive clan. What else? What else off the top of my head? Chaos Breaker lost Zinc. I believe that's the name. It's the grade 1 chick that lets you soul charge 2 and counter charge 2. That's a big hit for Chaos, but then I started thinking like why? I haven't seen Chaos ever, even like with the reprint sets. Like there haven't been any buyouts. I haven't seen any real hype for Chaos. Nothing online, nothing locally, nothing in a lot of tournament reports have I seen Chaos really being, or Link Joker in general, really being a top contender for premium. So I just thought that was an interesting choice on Bushi's part to hit just whatever could hold a tier 3 clan or tier 3 deck is now gone. So now it's just shit tier. Now that's not just now I'm not completely ignorant with my opinions on the ban list. I understand why 90% of the stuff was hit. And I mean, you have to admit some of the stuff what like is questionable, but it's too late now. Oh wow, I can't believe I overlooked this, but Bermuda Triangle, of course, got hit. You can't have a ban list without Bermuda Triangle getting hit. Let's just say that. Um, what was it? God, I have a hard time remembering this name because it's kind of forgettable. I don't know if it's pronounced Troyes or Trois. I'm just gonna say Trois because it sounds cool, I guess, and I just hear some people say that from time to time. Riviere loses consistency, speed, power with that unit gone. I mean, that's not to say that the deck is dead necessarily. I mean, Riviere decks that I've seen do tech in the Melody engine, and I mean, Melody's very generic, very strong. You just put in some more Melody cards, and I think you're still fine. Sure, you're not as fast and you're not as strong as before, like in terms of what you could do with Twa, but Melody isn't all that bad. And if it really comes down to it, and no one's playing Riviere anymore, or Prism, to my surprise, I guess we can just see Standard Plus again. Like we'll just see the like the OG Standard Plus, the Harmony and Melody builds come back. Maybe not the Harmony. I mean that was kind of a niche gimmick back in the day, but yeah, just Harmony. No, not Harmony. Damn it, Melody with strides. Still a very easy deck to play. And if you do implement the Harmony stuff, it just becomes a lot more fun. Yeah, it's very easy to pilot, very powerful. Definitely an alternative if you want something to play other than Riviere. Um, what else was there on this horrible list? And when I say horrible, I don't mean like it's a shit list. I mean it's bad for those who played the decks and like it hurts. But I mean it's what the format needed. I mean like dark regulars have been tier for like since Premium's debut. Kagura has always been at the top. A lot of these clans, Oracle Think Tank was up there, but now Oracle Think Tank is like no one thinks of playing Oracle Think Tank or Neo Nectar, just stuff like that. And that's the thing that I fear about these ban lists. If I can just go on a little tangent, is that I understand the ban lists are meant to make the format, the premium format, a little bit more healthy for the community. Like it sucks to play against the same toxic decks all the time. And I get that you need just a little soft reset button, but I don't know, like just from playing other card games, there's a difference between just having to completely decapitate uh, a deck and just make sure it doesn't see the light of day again, and then just crippling it, just breaking the kneecaps of something so that like it could still move, but it's just going to be in great pain because it's just going to be tough to recover from that injury. Um, like stuff like losing Gas Steel, you're no longer going to see dark regular builds played the same way that you did before. Genesis builds, you're not going to see like Wise Man and crap like that because that stand trigger was only good for one type of deal. I don't know, I just don't think that Bushiroad has to continue to be too cutthroat with the ban list. That's just my shitty opinion. Of course, I'm just the person who wants to always play the shit that I bought. But of course, that's never going to happen. Like you just play any other TCG other than Vanguard, it's not going to happen. But yeah, I mean that was my quick, unscripted shit take on the ban list and my simple opinions on stuff. In the end, trust me, I do know that this is healthy for the format, and I'm technically all for it. Uh, I've been playing these decks for years. That it did get a little boring. It's kind of one of the reasons why I quit. I'm not too sure if I mentioned that in my previous video months ago, but just keeping with the same stuff just gets really, really repetitive and really boring. And it's just like I couldn't sit down and play games with my friends. Like having drawn my first card of the game, I just got the feeling of scooping because like I would wake up that same morning and think, wow, I really want to play some Vanguard. It's been so long. But then once I get around to it, I'm just like, no, I know how this deck works in and out. I know how my opponent's deck works in and out. We know our strengths and weaknesses. We know it's going to be over in 3 minutes and we're going to go get some lunch. So, um, trust me, I'm excited to see what the new meta looks like, despite not playing Vanguard like for a while. I did quit, but there's always the chance that I could come back, and I'm hoping that I do because I saw new support. I have tons of friends constantly keeping me in the Vanguard news, keep me up to date with like future sets and what new metas look like overseas and here in America. And it's cool to learn all that, but it's nothing's really intriguing me at the moment. You know, stuff like overdress I'm never going to touch. That does not look like fun to me. And I don't know, just hopefully premium can get back on its feet. It sucks to lose these decks, and with the choice restrictions that are implemented, it makes deck building a little silly for some clans, but hopefully other stuff I really enjoy playing Night Rose for premium. I really enjoy playing Dragonic Overlord for Kagura in premium. Dimension Police is probably my number one. I've had this really awesome friend from Florida, and I was able to pick up a Dimension Police deck from him, and it was like the only thing I wanted to play for the longest time. I just thought it was so cool. It's super fun to be able to just, punch through 5, 6, 7 perfect guards or sentinels with one swing. And honestly, like if I had to put, like, I'd say 2 or 3 decks that I wish would be meta in this new format, like after this ban list, I want to see Dimension Police. Despite Chaos Joker losing Zinc, I want to see a Link Joker come back to premium. I haven't seen Link Joker in premium in quite some time. And if there was that really campy, Messiah Deleter build. But I don't want to see stuff like that. I want to see, just anything else. And I always wanted to see, oh my gosh, not Tachikaze. It's the, why is the name evading me? I want to see Nubatama. There we go. I mean, I was talking about it earlier. I don't know how I could forget it, but I want to see Nubatama get better. Anyone could argue that Nubatama was fine the way it was, but I don't know, just from my experience, I didn't see Nubatama doing shit in premium. I want to see if Nubatama can do anything else other than what it was doing for like the last year and a half. The ban list is going to be in the description. There will be a link. Just view it and tell me what you guys think. I'm sure there are a few things that I missed that were on the ban list that I didn't talk about, but that's just because I saw it once and didn't want to look at it again. Let me know what you guys think. Comments in the comments down below. Keep it civil. The last video I uploaded, was way too off the rails. I was pretty salty. I'm not going to say a little. I was definitely salty. And my words came across, I'm sure my words came across like the wrong way, and it wasn't my intention, but it wasn't until after the fact that I like rewatched the video and I saw the comments and I was like, okay, I get where these people are coming from. I could have done better. I'm just going to turn off the comments because shit was getting real stupid, and I'm just going to re-upload a new video, make it a lot shorter, and try to, be a little bit more to the point with all my discussion. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.